My name is Wesley Barnes. I graduated from St. Joe's with a master's in science in 2020. I work for Urban Outfitters as corporate headquarters, and my job title is Community and Leadership Development Manager for the Urban Outfitters brand. My current role is to support employees through their journey at UO. I support with onboarding from the new hire and manager perspective, and I am a resource for employees and leaders to call on for all people-related needs throughout their journey with us. I support with everything from coaching, org chart support, talent mapping, HR needs, as well as supporting our intern program and conducting any exit interviews with employees that leave our organization. So I actually started off working in stores for the Free People brand, which is part of the same company for URBN. And I started working there when I was in college, worked my way up to a manager position. It was right when the 2008 recession hit that I graduated. So I ended up continuing to work in stores, and the store I worked in had a lot of exposure to their corporate headquarters. So I was able to participate in a lot of exciting opportunities that the company offered, and was moved up to New York City for a year to manage stores up there. And with being in a larger scale store, I had the opportunity to then focus on specific roles within the store team, and the one that I focused on was hiring and onboarding and training, and so gave me a little window into that space. And then I moved to their headquarters, and after working in a few different positions within operations, it gave me the opportunity to understand a lot of the different roles that the company had to offer, what made people successful, what were big areas of opportunity when it came to training and development. And with that, I moved into a position on the talent development team, overseeing the college recruiting and internship program. And once I was in that role, I found my home. I ended up going back to school at St. Joe's to get my master's, and fell in love with anything people operations. And that helped to open the door into this role, which I eventually moved into. The number one skill that you need to be in my job is to be a good listener. Something I definitely learned at SJU. In the master's program, there was a lot of opportunity for us to participate in coaching experiences, which was critical to the position that I'm in currently. I'd say the other skills that I learned: self-awareness. In the program, you had to participate in a lot of different evaluations of yourself, and a lot of learning and understanding where unconscious bias would come up, and also understanding of your presence and how that will emit to anyone that you're working with. And creative problem solving, facilitation, curiosity, those were all other key attributes that I learned at SJU. There's not one specific thing that comes to mind. Anything that really allows for any sort of public speaking or any creative problem solving, I would imagine that you would get that type of opportunity if you're sitting on the board of any student activity group. I also think a lot of team members have some sort of engagement, as I mentioned, with public speaking, which a lot of theater students end up going into. So that was really helpful, and something that I was a participant in when I was in school, and was really supportive of then the role I moved into now. But anywhere where you're able to be creative or volunteer your time or work with people, that's going to help to prepare you for this type of position. Tips that I would give to students would be that your network extends far beyond just your peers and professors. I think every time you engage with anyone, it's really an opportunity to learn about that person and engage in a relationship with them. I would encourage anyone who is interested in any sort of role that they don't know someone in, if they're searching on LinkedIn, to reach out to someone and try to connect with them. I suggest for students to do informational interviews, which is essentially just reaching out to someone and trying to learn about how they got into their position, what their position entails, and about their company. So it's more informative for a number of reasons. One, you get to learn about the position and how the role operates within a company, because roles and positions are structured differently depending on what company you're in. And I think too, this is a good way to form a genuine connection with someone and truly learn about what they do. So they, if they end up having an opening on their team months, years later, or within the company in the future, and you're asking for some sort of support from them, you've already built the foundation for that relationship. And you really, truly never know where someone is going to land. So it's really important to keep all those relationships intact and keep connected to people, and not just going to them when you have an ask, but have a genuine relationship formed. Education. My background was in fashion merchandising and public relations. So when I moved into the people space, a lot of those roles required a particular education that I hadn't had at that point, which was one of the main reasons that I ended up going back to school at SJU. I think age in this particular role also plays a big role. A lot of times people think if you're working with people directly that you need to be able to give advice, when what we've noticed and learned a lot in my program was that it's all about coaching and not really giving them the answer, but helping people hear themselves and holding up a mirror so that they can get there on their own. Diversity and inclusion to me means even more than race, gender, age. It is diversity of thought, and all of those things I feel like are super critical to keep us moving forward in any space. When it comes to having initiatives within our organization and bringing change within the workplace as a result of those, definitely we have at our organization employee resource groups that are influential in making change. They're focused on listening to the people that work for us and the different perspectives that people bring in and how we can cater to those. So it's very important to understand where people are coming from and what their experience is like. I always think when it comes to D&I work, it's so important to have a inclusive environment before you can have a diverse environment, so that people feel supported, seen, and heard in that. There isn't just one that I would recommend. I think there's so many. There's so much that you can learn from any sort of nonfiction. Biographies are a really great resource, and talking to different professors and peers and the books that they recommend. Some I would suggest, Cal Newport, Digital Minimalism is a great one. The Question Behind the Question and Trusted Advisor. Those are key foundational books, I would say, to really get you to think about relationships, both with people and in organizations, and how to support them. I would say in terms of resources as well, podcasts are a great resource. And I also think just having resource groups amongst your peers. A lot of what I left St. Joe's with was those resource groups, and we still connect to this day. It's been a few years now, and we'll get together and have conversations about different situations that we're running into. And it's interesting to get different perspectives of someone who's not in the day-to-day in the weeds. And so I'd say putting together resource groups that maybe I haven't found externally has been really helpful. Different groups too that are more localized to Philadelphia. Disrupt HR is a really cool creative group. They have a lot of speakers and talk about different creative ways to engage with people within an organization. And Coaching Conspirators is a similar organization started by someone from Disrupt HR, which is actually focused on coaching and how to pull in different tools and resources to support any clients that you're working with. We were talking about this earlier, but also I just recently became a mom. And so some of the parenting books that I'm reading are actually very interesting, and they teach you a different side of people engagement. And I feel like it's been a helpful resource in working with people in general. I wish someone would have told me how quickly it goes by, and to truly take every opportunity, every chance that you get to engage with and learn, I think is such a privilege. And SJU did such a great job of offering and providing students with those opportunities, and to really look at all of the projects and these different ways that you're able to expand your mind as just such a blessing. So enjoy the ride, enjoy the learning, be as curious as possible. And yeah, don't wish that paper away, because one day you'll be hoping that you were expanding your mind in that same way.